Sorry for my voice still being a little rough. I'm recovering from a chest cold, but I was in the mood to play an old school platformer, and Roar of Revenge just came out for the Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and it was on Steam as of last year. And boy, I really like this. It's a cheap, affordable game. Digitally, it's like $5, and it's on sale right now on the Switch, at least $4. And I love these types of games. I could totally see this on the shelf back in the day next to other classics, as it reminds me of several other classic platformers. And I think this really is going to be appealing to a certain audience, especially if you grew up 8-bit, such as myself, and really like these types of games. And games where, it's not going to take hours to beat. And you start off, you're pretty weak. You don't even have a jump when you start this game. I'm not going to show everything. I'm just going to show some basics and give you some pointers playing this game. Things that will make you enjoy this game a little bit more. But wow. I like everything about it. I like the game. I like the graphics. I like the gameplay style. It's a perfect length. I was able to beat it. And it's a great game to just play in the weekend. And, for the price of like an old school rental. There's saves. Periodically, there'll be a save feature where it'll save your progress. You do get these relics throughout the game. There's 4 main ones. And it's pretty nice. So you can save, you can go back to it and continue right where you're saved. You can turn it off. I love that. And so the game, you can die as many times, but your ending will determine how many times you've died. So if you want the best ending, you can only perish 10 times or less. And so I definitely didn't do that the first playthrough. Probably going to try to play through again and see if I can get a better ending. I'm going to show you one of the endings, not the best ending. But anyways, yeah, so just a simple action platformer, lots of different enemies. I like how the levels vary, and there's 10 levels, 10 main levels in this game, and boss fights, and there's a couple different levels in which there's even a shooting game, a classic shooter level that's an homage to, an awesome classic shooter of the time. So anyways, wanted to really just show some gameplay and say, hey, this is a good game. I do recommend it. And especially if you grew up like me with classic Nintendo, you're going to feel right at home. There's a couple different maze puzzle things you got to figure out. Not too many. Here's the first boss. And I really enjoyed this game. I really thought that they did a good job of capturing what like an 8-bit release looks like. And they must have been huge fans, as I could see a lot of little nods throughout this game. And it's really enjoyable. And so I haven't been feeling the best. I'm recovering from a chest cold, as I mentioned earlier. And, this was definitely putting me in better spirits, playing an old school game and really enjoying it. And, these are the types of releases that I really see on modern platforms as people. I think there's a lot of people that grew up with these, and they're going to want to go back and want to play something new, but play something that plays like what they grew up with. And so here's one of those different action levels in which you're floating into the sky and you have to take out enemies. But yeah, everything from the backgrounds to the enemies. There's lots of different enemies in this game, and they did a good job of really creating an environment, a believable 8-bit environment and fantasy, and one that I enjoyed playing. One thing I think that this game does a good job of is keeping it fresh with different levels and enemies and different ways of beating each level. There is one part I'm going to show you that the difficulty does spike. Took me quite a bit to get past. One thing I do like about this game is there's no time limit. And so taking your time and understanding and trying to uncover the patterns of each enemy is super important as with any classic platformer, but that's one thing I really did enjoy about this game, is there was no time limit, as those are games I typically don't prefer. You do get magic eventually. It's super important, and I would really use your magic for bosses, as it takes down their health bar faster. This is the level and part that can take some time. You have to be really careful with these enemies, as they take several hits. I think like 16 hits of your sword to take out. So going through this part is a challenge. And this part right here just took me time and time again to get through. You might be able to do it a lot easier than me, but for some reason I just had a hard time. And part of it is I'm not feeling the best, so you know, I was just trying to be patient and to get through it. But you know, I just took breaks. Nice thing about having it save, as you can turn it off, come back to it as needed. Really enjoy that. I don't have to deal with any password or any of that. So yes, just know that there's certain enemies that will fall from the sky or take you out, and sometimes it can be frustrating, because you can almost get through a level and get taken out by a random enemy. That's just part of the appeal of an old school 8-bit release, as many games back in the day did that. And I don't consider it cheap. I consider it just part of the era. So, alright. So that part right there was really tough to get through. And maybe it'll be easier for you, but for me it was tough. So want to definitely show that this game can be very challenging. The swimming level was kind of cool. Definitely took me back to a couple other 8-bit games that had swimming. I think about Turtles, but this was less frustrating than that original release. So you have to get these diamonds to unlock another part of the level, and you have to go around. You have to be very careful not to touch jellyfish when they electrocute. Also, there's spikes. If you hit the spikes, you are automatically dead. So you have to be really careful as you're swimming mechanic. You kind of float, and luckily you don't have to deal with air or anything. You have unlimited air, and so they did take that annoying aspect out and just make this a video game and not make it super realistic. Who knows? Maybe you're a barbarian and you have unlimited air supply. I don't know. But anyways, I would say this game takes about, I don't know, probably an hour to beat. I took my time. I wasn't in a rush to beat it. So for me, it was a little bit over an hour. But I died several times. I was trying to figure out and explore each level and just kind of make sure not to miss anything. I didn't find many secrets throughout the level. It's just pretty much find the exit or accomplish a feat and then move on to the next part. So there's not a lot of like annoying parts of each level. This was a cool boss. And just finding the pattern of each boss will be important on how to beat it. I didn't find any bosses to be relatively extremely annoying, which is kind of a gratifying satisfaction to beat a boss, to not have to play it 100 times to beat it. I just enjoyed looking at the graphics and appreciating the game for what it is, a classic 8-bit release. And you know, this was really a satisfying game, especially not feeling the greatest. I really enjoyed playing this weekend and wanted to share this with you. One thing I really like about this game is it keeps it fresh by sending new enemies and new bosses and even new like gameplay styles this late in the game. A total homage to Dragon Spirit, which I'm a fan of. And you know, this level is just so. There's no power-ups, but it was just a nice little homage that they threw in. I thought it was kind of nice to break up kind of the side-scrolling platforming. Kind of wish they did a little bit more of that in this game. But you know, for $5, this is a great game. And you know, one thing too is I wonder if this could be converted to a Nintendo release. As you know, I think it's possible. It would really be neat to see this on an actual NES cart, but I'm sure it's more difficult than it sounds. Anyways, at the end of the game, I was kind of worried that I was going to have to fight all the bosses. No, you have to fight a couple of the same bosses, but They don't do the annoying tactic like other classic platformers where you have to fight all the bosses then the end boss. So rest assured, it doesn't do that. No Mega Man annoyances here. And just really like what they did with the graphics. Everything from some of the bosses are pretty unique. I'm not going to show the end of the game and how to fight that boss. I just wanted to show you several aspects of this game, but let you appreciate it yourself. As you know, I didn't want to do like a full walkthrough playthrough. I wanted to show people, hey, they want to check this game out, and I didn't want to ruin it for anybody. It's got kind of a Golden Axe style map there. That's kind of neat. But really, really liked this game. So when you beat it, I'm going to show one ending. Not the best ending. I only got a 2 out of 5 ranking. I died over 50 times. And I just want to thank everybody for bearing with my voice. And thank you for coming to my channel and watching this video. This is the Immortal John Hancock, and you have a good day.